What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your guy, Something. Hit the keys. Here today to bring you guys my top 9 free distortion plugins. Make sure if you guys do like this content though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell so every time we bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. With no further delay, let's get right into these distortions, baby. Some, hit the key. All right, guys, so this list isn't gonna go from best to worst. I'm just gonna go through the best 8 distortion plugins for you guys today. So the first distortion plugin that I have for you guys today is called Trapdrive. When you open up Trapdrive, it is going to look like this. With Trapdrive, I typically use this plugin on like an 808 drums or maybe like a melodic piece. So I'll go ahead and let you guys hear what it sounds like on the 808. Here's the 808 without Trapdrive on it. All right, and then the 808 with Trapdrive on it. So with this distortion right here, it's got a few different controls. What I like about it is it's got a few different distortion types here. It's got your output, your input, and it's got your amount. When I use this one, I typically start with my output somewhere around here because as I'm switching through different distortion types, I don't want it to get too loud immediately. The amount right here is the amount of distortion that you're gonna dial in. So let's go ahead and go through a few of the different distortion types for you guys. And then another thing that I like to use Trapdrive on is like pianos and stuff like that to give it a little bit of crunch. So this is what this piano sounds like without Trapdrive on it. And then once I throw Trapdrive on there, I can get it to sound like this. So it kind of gives it a little bit of a lo-fi feel. It gives it a little bit of crunch to that sound. And then the last thing I like to use Trapdrive on is drums. So I have it on some drums right here. This is what the drums sound like without Trapdrive on it. And with Trapdrive on there. So it can just add a little bit more to the drums. It can either make them sound really crunchy or it can distort the mess out of them, or you can just use it as saturation to make them cut through the mix a little more. The second free distortion I have for you guys today is called Ruina. When you look at Ruina, it is going to look like this. This thing has a bunch of different controls. It also has modulations right here. So you get 4 different LFOs, you get macro controls. You can change the color as well. In order to get the LFOs to work, all you have to do is basically right click on the slider, and then boom, it'll bring you over to this LFO menu. So with this thing right here, I have it on a guitar. I like this on 808s guitars, any kind of melodic sound. You can really destroy the sound with this thing. This is what the guitar sounds like without the Ruina on it. And then once I throw Ruina on there, I get it to sound like this. So what's cool about this is that you can blend the sound with the original sound to the distortion. So and then it's got some cool controls like this octavize down here is pretty cool. You can really destroy the sound. You can add this doom, you can add this buzz down here as well. So you can really destroy the sound if you want to. I also threw it on this 808, so I like to use it on 808s as well. So the 808 sounded like, again, like this before I threw the Ruina on there. And then now with the Ruina on there. So definitely brought that 808 out. And then again, we can mess with some of these settings over here and get it to sound really distorted if we want to. So that sounds pretty nice, you know what I'm saying? Again, you can do a lot with this distortion. The last thing I like to use it on is melodic pieces. So I have this piano over here. Again, this is what the piano sounds like without Ruina on there. All right, and then once we got Ruina thrown on there, I got it to sound like this. But again, you can use this for synthesizers. You can use this for so much. We'll go ahead and mess with this real quick so you can hear how distorted we can get this to sound. So this one for me is definitely a low-key gem that you should definitely scoop up. The third free distortion plugin that I have for you guys today is definitely an oldie but a goodie. It's called Camel Crusher. So when you open up Camel Crusher, it is going to look like this. The GUI is pretty small on this thing, but what's cool is that it has a bunch of different presets in here for you. This British clean one has been goated as an 808 preset for you to use to beef up your 808s. So basically, I throw this on guitars and I throw this on 808s. So this is what the guitar sounded like again before I threw the Camel Crusher on there. Now, once I throw Camel Crusher on there, though, I get it to sound like this. So what's cool about this distortion is that it has a compressor, and it has a filter on it as well. So we'll go ahead and just go through a couple of the presets for you guys real quick. And then I also use this on 808s as well. So again, this is what the 808 sounds like without the Camel Crusher on there. And then once we throw Camel Crusher on there, we can get it to sound something like this. So it definitely beefs up the 808. Again, we can pull back the mix a little bit, the volume if we want to. We also have control over the distortion over here. So this isn't a bad distortion plugin. If you have never heard or seen this one before, it's been in tons of tracks you've probably heard on the radio. The fourth free distortion plugin I have for you guys today is called Fire. It is a multi-band distortion plugin. When you open up Fire, it is going to look like this. You can have up to 4 bands on this thing, which is pretty cool. It's also nice because you have all kinds of different distortion types over here that you can mess with. And it has a global effect where you can basically EQ all the bands once they're all put together. So again, I have this on an 808. I like this on 808s. I like this on drums. I'll use it on melodic pieces as well. But it basically, the 808 sounds like this without fire on there. Now, once I throw fire on there, let me turn these bands on. I can get it to sound like this. So that's pretty cool. And as I turn off different bands, I'll let you hear what it sounds like. So this is what it's going to sound like with no bands on, and then I'll turn the first band on. So what makes this nice is with each one of these different settings over here, or which one of these different distortion types, you can make it sound different. So let's go ahead and start here in the middle. And then we can do that with all of these different bands. So like if I want to come over here and I want to change this band right here, again, I'm going to turn off all the other bands just so you can hear one band by itself. So as you can hear, all those different distortion types are going to make it sound a little bit different. I also have it on the piano over here. So again, this is what the piano sounds like before I threw fire on there. Now, once I threw fire on there, I got it to sound like this. So it just added a little bit of crunch, but again, we can do the same thing. We can start adding bands. We can move our bands over and so on and so forth, so that we can make them sound however we want. And I can't stress enough, what's really cool about this is that you can do so much. So you can change the different bands, the distortion type on there, and get it to sound however you want. Let's go ahead and change this one up real quick. So you hear all that's making it sound a little bit different. We'll go to a different one. Now we'll come to this middle band and we'll change this one up a little bit. So let's put this one on hard clip. And we can just do that for all the bands. It's very solid. You can also use this one on drums too as well. The fifth free distortion plugin I have for you guys today is called Burier. When you open up Burier, it is going to look like this. This is basically a saturation knob, but it can add some distortion depending on how much you crank this thing. So basically, this is what the drum sounded like before I threw Burier on there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn up the saturation knob. What's cool is you can link this to your output, so you don't have to worry about blowing a speaker or anything like that. It also has low cut and high cut right here. So let's go ahead and check this thing out. So you can hear, the more you turn it up, the more distorted it starts to sound. And then we can mess with this output if we want to. We can also mess with the high cut. What I also like to use Burier on would be like my mix bus. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna throw it here. I just have it on the master bus. I'm just gonna turn everything on real quick so we can hear what it sounds like as we turn up Burier on the master bus. So this is what it's gonna sound like with Burier on 0. All right, so then I'm gonna go ahead and crank this up. I'm gonna crank it up till it does get distorted. So normally I wouldn't crank it up that high, but just so that you guys can hear it. So normally I would use it somewhere between here, and then I would mess with the output in the mix. So I'm gonna turn Burier off, and then I'm gonna turn it back on. So here's what it sounds like off, and I'm gonna turn it on while it's playing. So that one's very good to add some subtle saturation to your mix bus as well. The 6th free distortion plugin that I have for you guys today might possibly be the best free distortion plugin of all time. It's called Ohmicide. So when you open up Ohmicide, it is going to look like this. This used to be a paid distortion plugin, but it is now free. What makes this cool is all the control that you get and all the different distortion types that you get. It is also a multi-band distortion plugin, so you can control different controls on different bands. So as you look at this one up here at the top, you got your setup button. Over here are different presets that you can go through. I'm not gonna go through everything in this plugin, but over here, as you can see, each one of the bands, so each one of these is a different band. You can control over threshold, attack, release, and amount. Down here, you get control over different kind of distortion types. So you see all these different distortion types that you get to go through. You get to control feedback, you control frequency, bias, mix, gain, all that stuff with this. I put this on a guitar, and this is what the guitar sounded like before I threw Ohmicide on there. All right, and so then once I threw the Ohmicide on there, I got it to sound like this. So again, what's cool about this is right here, this control basically controls what frequency the band's gonna go up to. So you can pull this down, you can pull it up. And as you see here, it's telling you exactly where that band's starting and stopping. Again, I like down here that you have all these different distortion types. I also threw this on the 808, and this is what the 808 sounded like without Ohmicide on there. All right, and then once I threw the Ohmicide on there, I got it to sound like this. And so again, what I really like about this plugin is the fact that it has all these different distortion types down here. So you can come down here and we can just easily change up the sound. And we can do it down here with the lower frequencies as well, obviously. So let's go ahead and throw this angry mouse on there and see what it sounds like. So with this one right here, your options are basically limitless on what you can do with your distortion, how you can make it sound. The 7th free distortion plugin that I have for you guys today is another oldie but a goodie. It's called Saturation Knob. So when you open up Saturation Knob, it is going to look like this. With this, you have 3 different saturation types. You got keep low, neutral, and keep high. I typically like to use this one on drums and then like a mix bus or something like that. So this is what the drums sound like without Saturation Knob going. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna slowly turn up Saturation Knob and you're gonna hear the drums get some more oomph until they get distorted. So with this, with these knobs, if you keep it on low, it's gonna keep the saturation level low. And if you go up to keep high, you're gonna hear more distortion in the drums. But it definitely makes a big difference in this. I also like to use this on the mix bus or the master bus. So we're gonna go ahead and turn it on the master bus, and we're gonna turn everything on so you guys can hear what it sounds like. So this is what the beat sounds like without soft tube going. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and turn this up so you guys can hear what it sounds like once you get soft tube on there or a saturation knob on there. So you can hear how it put everything up forward. Let's go ahead and listen to this off and then on. So I'll start with it off and then I'll go ahead and I'll turn it on. So this is what it sounds like off. So you can hear there clear as day the difference. The eighth free distortion plugin that I have for you guys today is called Krush. So when you open up Krush, it is going to look like this. Pretty simple looking GUI. You've got drive, you've got control over your bit crusher right here. You've got control over different modulations down here and your filters up here. I threw this on a guitar first, and this is what the guitar sounds like. And then once I threw Krush on there, I got it to sound like this. So with this, obviously you get a few different controls. So, you know, we can start with the drive down a little bit, the Krush down a little bit. So obviously that's just gonna drive the signal. We'll throw this Krush up a little bit so you can hear what it sounds like. We'll turn this up right here as well, the down sampling. Now what's cool too is you also have control over your LFO modulations down here. So if we turn these up and we turn this rate up, it's going to basically make that LFO go for us. I also use this on an 808 as well. So this is what the 808 sounded like without Krush on there. Now, once I threw Krush on there, I got it to sound like this. Now, obviously, you can mess with it more. You can mess with the down sampling and the Krush. And then you have control over your wet and dry knob over here too, so you can kind of blend it in and get it to sound how you want. Then you also have control over your modulations over here, the same as before. So this isn't a bad saturation at all if you just want to throw on something real quick, have easy controls, and just crush the mess out of the sound. The last free distortion plugin I have for you guys today is another absolute gem. It's called Prisma. So when you take a look here at Prisma, it is another multi-band distortion plugin, but with this one, you've got different distortion types that you can put on, or different effects that you can put on each band, and you can add up to 16 different effects to it, which makes it absolutely fire, because you can put all kinds of distortion sounds on there to distort your sound, destroy your sound, do whatever it is you want to it. The first thing I threw it on was a piano. The piano sounds like this. Now, once I threw Prisma on there, though, I got it to sound like this. So pretty solid. And then you can do all kinds of stuff. So you see, all you do is you're going to move these little things in the middle to make it go up or down some. So super solid. You can add width or whatever it is you like on there. I also threw this on an 808, obviously. So this is what the 808 sounded like without Prisma on there. And then once I threw Prisma on there, I got it to sound like this. So pretty solid. We'll go ahead and mess with some of these just so you can hear what it sounds like as you add and take away. So as you see with that one, you can definitely make some fire 808s. You can definitely bring out distortion in whatever it is that you want to put it on. Well, basically, guys, that's what I got for you guys today. I hope that I could help you guys out with some free distortions. I know I did a video a couple of weeks back about my favorite paid distortions, and I got some suggestions in the comment to come do this video. So I thought I'd put this together for you guys to help you out in case you didn't want to pay for some distortions. So make sure if you guys do like this content, though, drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell so every time we bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. Appreciate you guys' time as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Some, hit the key.